and embarking a meaningful journey of kindness and compassion. It goes beyond the glitz and glamour to focus on the essence of being kind and sharing that kindness with others. Through this pageant, we aim to inspire contestants to become an inspiration for all things good, using their platforms of ours to make a difference in lives around them, and recognizing the power of empathy and ripple effect that acts of kindness and create the leading to a brighter and more harmonious world. The BizTourismPageant.com.
Tampa Bay's Tan Talk, entertaining and informative video for the Sunshine State.
Initialize sequence now.
Join the countdown for actors, modeling, singers, songwriters, musicians, dancers, performers, and voiceovers from across the nation to across the world. Here with Dawn Reese on Hollywood Connections on Tan Talk Radio 106.1 FM.
Hi, this is Pam Tillis, and you're listening to Hollywood Connection with Dawn.
Hi, I'm Gina Lee Nolan, and you're listening to Hollywood Connections.
Hey, everyone. I'm Cassie Skirbo with Dawn, the lovely Dawn, and you're listening and watching Hollywood Connection.
Hey, what up, you guys? It's your girl, Vivica Fox. You are watching Hollywood Connections on Tan Talk Radio with Dawn. Little foxy thing. Enjoy.
Hi, you're listening to Hollywood Connections with Dawn Reese, and I'm Kathleen Gatty from General Hospital, Dr. Liesl Obrecht.
Hello, I'm Butch Patrick, and you're listening to Dawn Reese's Tan Talk Radio, Hollywood Connections.
John Schneider, you're listening to Dawn Reese on Hollywood Connection.
Hey, this is Jason Thompson from The Young and the Restless. You're listening to Hollywood Connections with Dawn Reese.
Hi, Squidward Tentacles here, reminding you about Hollywood Connections with Dawn Reese. If you want to know about voiceovers, this is where you need to tune in. You can hear me too. Ha, ha, ha. Have a great day. Is this thing still on?
Hey, this is Brittany Sarpy from Young and the Restless, and you are listening to Dawn Reese Hollywood Connection.
Hey, this is your Olympic hero, Kurt Angle, and you're listening to Hollywood Connections with Dawn Reese. Oh, it's true. It's damn true.
Charlie Adler, and I'm shouting out, I guess that's a word, because I'll be on Hollywood Connection soon.
Welcome to Hollywood. What's your dream? Everybody comes here. This is Hollywood, land of dreams. Some dreams come true, some don't, but keep on dreaming. This is Hollywood, always time to dream, so keep on dreaming.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to Hollywood Connections. I am so excited about this show. Actually, in this last year, this is going to be my favorite show, and with my favorite people that are here. And I just have to tell you, if you remember the TV show, this will tell you my age, Don Ho, back in the days, I used to watch him on the air. And I've got two amazing gentlemen. They're collaborating together on something very exciting in the area. And introduce yourself to the world.
I'm Charlie Ho.
Yes. And he does a lot of Hawaiian things we're going to talk about. And oh my gosh, if you're having a Hawaiian party, this is the man to book. He is so amazing. And then tell everybody who you are.
This is Mike Angel.
I like that. Mike Angel. I like that. And we have a show called Miracle Stories.
He's no angel.
Yeah.
Watch it now.
Well, thank you for joining here at the Tan Talk Radio. I want to thank Lola, our station owner, for this opportunity. I don't know, over 15 years, I think I've been here. Anyway, so let's talk about what's happening in your world and what you want to accomplish and what you are accomplishing. And who's going to go first?
Oh,
Charlie?
Charlie, yeah,
I will. I'm kind of shy, but I'll go first.
He's got a great radio voice.
Yeah. Eventually, Mike and I are both going to let everybody know what our experience is, so it lends some validity to what we're planning. When I moved here 30-some years ago, the music scene was really exciting. There was things happening. Every hotel had bands. A lot of the larger retirement communities had constant music entertainment. I don't see that now. Some of the hotels have, they'll have a piano player, they'll have a duo out on the beach or something. But to me, the music scene has died here. And there's so much potential, especially in Florida. People come here from all over the world because of the scenery, the beach, the water, just the attitude. Nobody's embarrassed to wear a Hawaiian shirt.
I have a bunch of them. Yes.
Nobody's embarrassed because it's all right here.
Yeah.
Kick off your shoes and put on your flip-flops and your sandals. That's the attitude here. Well, that lends itself to the tropical thing.
Mm-hmm.
The music scene is lacking. There's not a lot of tropical music. When I first came, there was a couple of Jamaican fellas playing on the beach. I can't remember their name anymore, but they were very popular. And since then, I haven't seen hardly any tropical island music.
Well, you have a show that you put on. I mean, tell us about the show that you do and what kind of songs that you sing.
Well, unfortunately, the call or the demand for the full island show is really kind of gone. That's what I feel bad about. I used to have a handful of really good Polynesian dancers, a couple of fire dancers, some big Samoan boys, but nobody will pay for that anymore. It's just, there's not a need. You know, those of us that put on those shows.
But we love that. I know. And those of you that are out there, you know, and you want that back, we have it here in the studio.
Well, as we were talking before, the age group that really appreciated that from the 70s and 80s really isn't out there spending money anymore. It's the younger generation. They have a whole different attitude about what an island Polynesian show. That people under 30, hardly any of them have been to Hawaii. So they haven't been impacted with that.
Right.
There's places on the other side of Florida that still do that. There used to be a wonderful place here that I got excited about when I first came, but they were on the verge of closing. I don't remember the name anymore, but they used to do full Hawaiian reviews. So the reason that Mike and I talked about this, because between us, we played just about every kind of music there is.
Right.
We both toured.
Both of them are so talented as well. I mean,
We
amazing.
both toured the country in our respective groups. He's been overseas with his groups. So between us, I think we're knowledgeable about all the stuff that people our age group and younger
That we
will enjoy.
appreciate.
Yeah, appreciate. That's the right word.
Yes.
But it's got to be fun.
Yeah,
we don't do anything if it's not fun.
It's got to be
Right.
So that's what we're seeking. Down the road, we plan, with your help, we plan on doing a show that is basically built around the local music scene, the good professional acts that we feel are professional, that will promote the music scene, along with the clubs and the restaurants and the activity centers, all those places that used to have music.
Right.
But they've
You
faded
know,
out.
I was in New York. I had a friend, I don't know if you know the name, Pete Bennett. He had passed away. He was the promoter of the Beatles and Rolling Stones. And he took me to a place called the Bitter End. And there were bands that were happening every 45 minutes. They'd change because there were a lot of record people that were there, always discovering new acts. I thought that was phenomenal. We don't have anything like that here for talent. And like we were talking, you were saying about, you had talked to the station owner a little bit about bringing the music back in, and that's so highly needed with all these new artists.
Well, especially in Florida, you've got to have island tropical
Vibe.
/beach vibes.
Yes.
In Florida.
Yeah.
You know, you don't have to go on vacation if you just want to hang out at the neighborhood watering holes. You want something different. Florida's the perfect place to have it. You don't want to fly the other side of the world to Hawaii. Okay. You can't afford that? Come here.
Right. And Mike, we're going to go and talk to you too. Tell us a little bit about your groups and what you've done in your life as well.
Let me see. Now, I'm a keyboard player. I was forced to play keyboards, which I didn't like. My father played in a big band back in the 40s.
Okay.
Cab Calloway. He was a drummer for them for a while. So I grew up through him to be forced to play classical. Later on in life, in high school, starting to get with R&B bands, because back in the late 60s, it was the R&B band, rock, and everything. That was it.
Right.
And upstate New York is where I was born and raised, and which was only 30 miles north of Woodstock.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Yeah.
Yeah, I did the Woodstock thing. I was 19 years old.
Okay.
So, you know, during the hippie era and everything else. So I did a lot of music, upstate New York and also in the Catskills in that era. With R&B, funk, jazz fusion.
Okay.
Then from there, I hooked up with a group from out of New Jersey, and they used to work with a lot of Coon and Gang, Ohio Players, New Birth, and stuff like that. And from there, did a lot of international travel.
Right. I knew the manager, the road manager from Kool and the Gang. He was amazing. He took me, well, he had passed away, but he had took me on stage and he's like, I'm going to get you right up on stage with everybody. I was so cool, like just sitting there. But yeah, that's amazing. And you've been both around, in the music industry, very heavy on that.
Yes.
And I know people are going to ask where they can hear your music or where they can look you up. They're very curious on how to get in touch with you.
Well, Mike has a website.
Yeah, I'm starting my website.
I'm old school. I'm
He's
not into
old
that.
school.
My wife used to handle that. I'm technologically challenged.
Oh, gotcha. So how would they contact you to book you for anything like, upcoming?
You can dial my number 813-470-0284. And the name is Mike Angel. And the group that I'm working with now with myself is called Freshly Brewed.
Oh, I like that. That's really good. Okay. How'd you come up with that?
Well, years ago, I liked music for a while, and my hobby was electronics. So I went to school and got a degree in electronics. So because I stated to myself, when my equipment breaks, it's going to cost me 4 gigs to get it repaired.
Right. Right.
So I learned electronics, so now I can repair my own equipment.
That is a smart deal. Yes, I like that.
And also I did like 35 years in aerospace.
Okay.
And I left music for a while because back at the time it was R&B, jazz. Then from there, it went into the disco era.
Mm-hmm.
And I was living in New York City. So I lived the disco era from, Studio 54, CBGB,
Oh, wow.
and the jazz. So
Disco.
So I lived the whole disco era in New York City.
Yeah, wow.
Then after that, I hooked up with a guy doing electronics with a jazz guy named Lonnie Liston Smith.
Okay.
And I worked with him across the United States doing jazz concerts and stuff like that.
Oh, how exciting.
Then from there, what happened to get back into music, it followed the next wavelength, which was rap. When rap started coming out and stuff like that, they start to, tear out the bandstand where the band plays, right? So, and it was only one guy in the corner pushing records, so there was no more mute band, as you said, because it went into rap and disco.
Yeah.
And it started to go into the other phase. So it was really
but everybody still loves R&B. Everybody loves, in our era, and the Hawaiian and the culture of it is truly amazing.
Well, some of the new bands are still sampling old R&B.
Mm-hmm.
The stuff that's recognizable. Because if it feels good, it feels good. Doesn't matter what you label it. If it feels good,
Exactly.
it'll sell.
Yeah.
Exactly. Wow. So when I opened the show, I talked about Don Ho real quick, and we're going to go back into talking about more of your adventure and what you're accomplishing out there here in the Clearwater and around the area. Tell me the story about Don Ho.
I have a story. Okay.
Yes, I want to hear.
I don't get a chance to tell this very often.
Well, the reason because I like I said, when I was a kid, I would always watch Don Ho, and I was like just mesmerized by Hawaii.
Well, my friends will say, "Oh, you've told that story before. Shut up." Years ago, I don't remember what anniversary it was. I have 2 children that live in California. My wife, along with one of my older sisters, and I think it was my dad, helped. I didn't know it. We were visiting family in San Francisco. I didn't know it, but Uncle Don, my uncle, was performing in not Vegas, one of those other big.
Like Reno? No.
It might have been Reno. I'm not sure. Anyway, he was performing there. He rarely came to the United States, to the mainland.
You said Uncle Don.
He's my uncle.
Don Ho is?
Yes.
No way. Oh my gosh.
So anyway,
You said
take it
Uncle
easy.
Don.
Take it
I'm
easy.
like so excited.
He's dead. I can't introduce you. No.
I know.
No. So as a surprise, they didn't tell me. They kidnapped me, and they took me. I can't think. That's going to bug me. I think it was Reno, but one of those other cities where they have the shows.
Right.
This was in I was married in 72, so it had to be middle 70s. Don Ho was still pretty popular then. He was on TV shows and stuff.
Right.
They took me backstage. He was performing somewhere. But my wife must have called the right people because they let us through the back, and they hadn't told my uncle either that I was around. I hadn't seen him for a few years. I'm surprised you recognized me. they just pushed me out on stage. No introduction, no nothing. Well, he didn't know I was coming. They just pushed me out on stage.
I love it.
All of a sudden, he's looking at me, trying to recognize me. Finally it hit. So we did the hugging and the regular stuff, and we did a couple songs. I was petrified.
Wow.
Up to that point, I hadn't really played big venues like that. This
Okay.
was thousands of people, 2 or 3 tiers of people. I'm just glad I didn't wet my pants. I remember the words. I was more concentrated on remembering the words. So that happened. So that was it. So, and to add to that, 1 year here, I was working for one of the cruise lines. And because I was an employee, I had a name tag.
Okay.
Charlie Ho Entertainment. I used to perform on the top deck.
That makes sense. Hello, Dawn. Don Ho, Charlie Ho. Okay, hello. That went way over. I finally got it.
So anyway, I was working one of the cruise ships. Well, my job was to play on top deck. It was a casino cruise.
Okay.
So we'd play till they got out 9 miles. The music stopped. They pushed them into the casino to drop their money. So on the way back, I did the performance. We got back to the docks. My job was to hustle people off so we could bring the new group on. They were like 3 or 4 hour cruises, something like that. So that was my main job. So everybody's off. It was 2,000-3,000 people. I'm up 2 or 3 steps up so I could see everybody. Thank you for coming. Have a nice day. This large Polynesian lady wearing real typical muumuu. She was carrying a little ukulele case. And I thought, how did I not see her? I cruised all 3 decks on my breaks.
Yeah.
Anyway, she sees my name tag. She puts out her arms and stops like 1,000 people behind her. She says, Charlie Ho, are you related to Don Ho? And without thinking, just thinking, I'll make her happy. She'll get out of the way. I said, yes, ma'am.
Oh, no.
That was a mistake. She puts her arms out again and stops. Everybody goes, who's your uncle? Well, Don Ho had 3 brothers.
Okay.
And I couldn't remember their names. They were all English, like Alfred, Albert. She mentioned, I'm going to say Alfred. I go, yeah, that's my. She goes, I know your aunt. I'm going to call her and tell her that I know you. Well, I hadn't seen Don Ho for years. Excuse me. And I thought, well, they're not going to believe her. Well, the reason I was a little nervous because that very week, some guy had gotten arrested in Fort Lauderdale for impersonating Harry Belafonte's son. Well, the problem was the guy was running out on all of his bills. Rental cars, hotel, bar tabs. He ran out on everything. Well, he went to prison.
Oh, boy.
And I thought, wait, I haven't done anything wrong. Well, why would I go to prison? But I was worried about it. So finally, one of the first mate, I guess they call him on the boat.
Right.
Big Samoan kid. He was like a giant, good-looking Elvis. Little waist, big shoulders. Well, he liked singing, so I used to get him up to sing with him. And I told him what happened. He thought it was the funniest thing. I said, no. Gee, I need her to know what my situation is here. I don't want her to think I'm making stuff up. Well, fortunately, he belonged to one of the Polynesian social clubs in town. And they have yearly parties. So I said, please explain to her what the situation was. So anyway, now she knows the real story, but I haven't seen her since. What was her name? She actually was in charge of the Polynesian shows at Disney.
I've seen those. Those are amazing too.
What was her name? I can't remember now. Anyway, from that came, I got an audition at Disney.
Okay.
They offered me a job, but the manual for instructions for employees is like the old-fashioned phone books.
Oh, my gosh.
It was horrible. I go, but at that time I had young children. I thought, well, the insurance is good, the benefits. That was my motivation. That's a long way to go.
Yeah.
Well, the one rule they made was if you work for Disney, you can't play out. You can't perform anywhere.
I've heard that.
I said, in the whole state? I said, even on my days off, I can't play? I said, no. And legally, I'm sure they don't have the right to do that.
Right.
But they make up the rules for hiring you.
Yeah.
So I turned it down.
Wow, what a story on that! Yeah. I just have so many more questions. So, the beads that you're wearing, tell me about that.
Yeah, these are kukui nuts. These are pretty traditional. Mm-hmm. When we used to do the full show, I have like half a dozen different things. one of the girls who is my lead dancer, she used to go to Hawaii every year. She had a brother that lived there. She would always come back with all of the newest lays, the different colors and stuff. So I'd give her some money and say, bring me back whatever's now, you know.
Yeah.
And she would. I'd be the only one in town with it for a while. But then when we started working the boats in Tarpon Springs, we started giving out lays and beads, all kinds of stuff. So I'm down to my favorite 4 or 5 now.
And me and my husband, when we got married, we had the Hawaiian style.
Yeah.
We had the green leafy thing that we ordered. Yeah, it dried up, but it was like real.
Well, yeah, they do the real ones. There.
Yeah, it had the real flowers from Hawaii. Yeah, it was very beautiful. Oh my gosh. So what you're going to accomplish together. Now tell everybody what you're doing with the puppet and everything. And this is so, I was hoping they'd do it today, but this is like a teaser, everybody. So they're going to have to come back and do another one.
Yeah, we came last week, remember?
Yes.
Yeah, we came last week.
So that was my fault because
we
I
had
put
the puppets and the fire dancers and everything.
Oh no! Don't tell me that.
No, we didn't. I'm lying.
I put them on the wrong calendar, and I was at a healing service at beaminghope.org church with a friend of mine. She needed to be there. She's in a wheelchair, and but I think you guys, that's why I'm going to give you this hour to really kind of promote what you're doing. And so the act that you're doing, how did you come up with that, and how long have you been doing that, Mike?
Boy, that was something else. That was like instantaneous.
Yeah.
So had this puppet, right? Okay, the Muppet and everything else. Okay. And I said, I'm going to do something with this. What? I don't know yet. Whatever. So I was moving my storage from one place to another. And Charlie, we're always moving the storage, right? Over to your place.
Yeah, he rents part of my studio.
For storage. So I haven't kept moving anything for the Muppet yet. So number 2 is storage to pick up my stuff. And all of a sudden you had the the hat with the dreads, the Rastafarian.
The Rastafarian hat.
He put the Rastafarian hat, and I went like, "That's it!"
Oh, wow!
Yes. So I brought him home. Bought the hats, shade glasses, dressed and everything else. So I said, "Now here he is." So I had to practice because when I play with the guitar, I'm using my right hand on the chords, right? My left hand was the controls. But now my left hand is now manipulating the Muppet. So that's kind of hard to do, So I've just been playing around with it, in the front room, and I put on a song, right? And I just do the background with it. And
do you know how famous also you would be on TikTok doing that?
Yeah, I heard.
No, I'm serious. Are you on TikTok?
No.
Are you not? Are you on TikTok?
I'm technically I need help.
TikTok is amazing, and wouldn't he be great on TikTok? I mean, people come on. You can make money. People send gifts, and then you change it over. If you have a viral video, I mean, I made a couple $100 when COVID hit because we had something with one of our boats, and I was like, oh, and this is nice. But if you're doing a live, you get so many followers. You go live, and people will send you gifts because they love what you're doing. They love what you're doing.
So what happened? I practiced. Well, back at the radio station here is Sandshakers.
Right.
I should mention that. So I was working with the third guy. You haven't met him yet, Ray.
Oh, Ray. Yeah.
So there's 1, 2, there's 3 of us.
Okay.
All 3 play keyboards.
Oh God, this is so because we've had a lot of keyboards people they bring in here and sing and bring guitars.
So my background is Panamanian. My father's side, he's Hawaiian. Ray is Filipino.
Oh, how fabulous!
So we got all 3.
Talk about tan talk.
Oh, tan. Right?
That's so true.
We're the tan band.
Yes, for sure.
So what I did was over there, I was working with Ray. You weren't around that time.
Yep.
So I said, okay, I had it over in my suitcase. I said, let me get it out. So I said, okay, just let me go. Just do it, right? And I went up and I performed it, and all the audience went like, look at this, look at that, look at that. And I was just having a good time. I didn't care. I just had a good time with it. And it went from 10 to 100 like that.
Wow.
And I said, that's it. That's it.
You found your niche.
Oh, now I have a female one.
Oh, geez.
Oh, yes. I see it. Yeah. And he's doing what? Tina Turner.
Now, when was the last time you saw 2 grown men go to a store and discuss shades of lipstick and eyelash, or whatever that's called?
I don't think I have.
Now you have.
So I was going to do all the, the female songs and everything else. Yeah.
Oh, how fun.
So it's become really, really fun. And people came up to me and they stated, like, you worked really many hours with this. How many hours you really put in for this and that?
Yeah.
I think I did like maybe 20 minutes over 3 months.
Yeah.
Wow.
It just naturally just came
But he said,
out.
I've been working on it for 10 years.
Oh,
Yeah.
but hey,
Okay.
I'm beast. But it just came out. I was just having fun with it and everything else.
And then all of a sudden it just voila, and it was meant to be.
It's captivating.
My
Yes.
friends, and I got the musicians friends, international from Japan, Germany. My nieces are in Australia, and
Wow.
they said, "What are you doing?" They said, "Is this really happening? Is that you?"
Wow. Oh my God, it's so exciting.
It was just different. I was having fun. I was having fun.
We have to have you bring them here.
I found a teddy bear just because I got jealous.
He did. He
But
went up.
Because it's not a ventriloquist puppet, but you can move the face.
Oh, well, I mean, okay, I'm 63
And?
I got into squashmallow pillows.
What is that?
Squashmallow pillows.
Mellow.
They're the softest pillows in the world. They have like little themes to it. Like there's a Santa that's out. There's like all these different things, and you can get them at Target. I mean, they're like CVS has the Santa, and they're so comfy. You just
Can you make them soft?
no, but you can sleep on them.
You got to sleep on that. Okay, you got
I'll
to
sleep on that.
Sleep on that.
Yeah, squashmallow pillows. Yeah.
That's funny.
Like s'mores pillows, between.
Yeah, they're so soft and cozy. Yeah, for sure. So, okay.
He's lost.
He's lost.
You gotta help
He's
him
like,
out.
what are you talking about? You bring the puppets. I'll bring the squashmallow pillows.
Okay.
All right.
We can do a routine with Bill.
Pillows.
Angel in the Hoe.
Pillow talk.
Angel in the
hole. Yeah.
Oh, that's
Pillow
a new
Talk.
show
That's
at
a good
Tan
idea.
Talk.
Pillow Talk.
Yeah. That is a new, we got to do that. So let me ask you, Charlie. So when you found out that you love singing back, when did you all start? Like, when did this all start? Can you tell us your history?
All by accident. Well, I found out a little later that my dad had sung a little.
Okay.
I never heard him or anything. My folks got divorced before I was really aware of stuff. So anyway, it's just a natural gift, I guess. That's what people tell me.
Mm-hmm.
I used to sing along with records. When I was 14, the Ventures were a guitar band. They had albums out that taught you how to put your fingers in the right spots.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't take lessons or anything, just the desire. Oh, that'd be fun. Okay. Well, when I was in high school, for high school graduation, in my neighborhood, there was guys who I kind of knew, but they had a popular local band, rock and roll stuff. It was 1966.
Wow.
So they were very popular. Well, I went to their house one day just to hear them practice. Then all of a sudden, it came graduation from high school, and I guess I've always been a ham. I know it's hard to tell, but I went. These guys crossed my mind. I go, man, I'd like to be. The seniors were putting on a show for the rest of the school. Big high school. So I asked the guys in the band. I said, if I can get you in the show, will you let me sing? Will you let me sing with you? Well, the only song I knew was Twist and Shout and La Bamba.
Okay.
Same 3 chords. And that's all I knew. Well, they put me in the band. We did the show. One of my teachers danced around in a black cat costume or bat woman or something. It didn't fit anything, but she wanted to be out on stage. She was was she a Spanish teacher? I think she was a Spanish teacher. So we did that. Huge audience. My parents were there. That was the first time I'd ever sang in front of anybody, but I was too ignorant to be scared of it.
But I like your concept. I'll get you in the show if I can be in the. I think that's brilliant.
Yeah,
Number one, brilliant.
Life is a sales pitch. So they let me in. It went great. Personally, I thought I did pretty very good.
Yeah.
But the instant I got down on stage and everybody's leaving out the doors, girls who never had the time of day for me come up and started talking. Guys who never had the time of day for me come up and want to
Isn't
be my
that
buddy.
interesting?
I go, so that's the way it works.
That's the way it works.
So I just learned a handful of guitar chords. Any basic guitar player out there would tell you can play 1 million songs with 5 or 6 chords.
Mm-hmm.
Then one day, I think I was 20, I was out having some beers with my friends. There was a duo playing. This was in Madison, Wisconsin.
Okay.
My dad was stationed in the Air Force there. They're playing, they're doing a nice job, just rhythm and lead guitar with a horrible sounding drum machine.
Oh, no.
It was every single song sounded like that. It was horrible. But anyway, they did a good job. They had fun, harmonies. At that time, they were like the Everly Brothers kind of sound. So I had a couple of beers in me. The lead guitar player said, anybody in the audience want to come up and sing? Well, okay. So I went up, played my 3 chords, did my 2 songs.
Right.
So I did that 2, 3, 4 weeks in a row, same 2 songs. The audience seemed to like it. One day I went in, he says, "Hey, how'd you like to go on the road with me?" Without even thinking of what that meant. I had no idea. I said, "Sure."
Yeah.
Well, he fired his partner. They'd been together for years.
Whoa.
There was a falling out, which I didn't know about. Okay, this was a Saturday night. Well, at the time, I had come into some money because I had a eye injury. So I had a chunk of money in the bank. I had bought a brand new Chet Atkins guitar,
Okay.
which I had no business buying. It was for professionals. I mean, it was like $800 in 1969 or 70.
Right.
So he says, "Oh, come on over to my house on Monday, bring your guitar, and we'll jam. We'll see how it flows." I opened up my guitar. He goes, "Wow, you must really be good." I took me 30 seconds to show him what I knew. He said, "That's it?" I go, "Yeah. You said you liked my singing. You didn't say I had to be a great guitar player." It didn't even cross my mind. There was only 2 of them. There was no bass player.
Right.
To this, my friend's credit, he lives in Sarasota now. To his credit, he taught me the basic concept of the guitar in a day and a half. By Tuesday night, we were playing full time, wearing tuxedos. That's when they had dance clubs.
Right.
You go to dinner, you dance a little bit, a couple of drinks.
Yes,
you dance.
yes.
Pretty fancy. Well, that was my first experience playing professionally. I didn't have to play the bars and dumps like a lot of my friends did. So I was just in the right place at the right time. I know it's hard to believe again, but I always had the gift of gab. So I just followed him musically. He taught me the principle. If a song is out of this key, these are the only other chords that are going to go with it. Real basic. And fortunately, all the songs we did were stuff you heard on the radio. Nothing obscure, nothing I hadn't heard of. No jazz stuff, which I just wasn't capable of that yet. Well, that was it. To this day, I don't remember how I worked up the courage, but I went to a place that had like 5 or 6 clubs in the area.
Okay.
And we were playing radio pop stuff. Glenn Campbell and, a Daisy a Day. They're pretty mellow stuff now. I went and approached the man who was in charge of hiring the bands. Well, they had 5 or 6 places in the Midwest, big places, all hooked up with hotels. I went to the guy who was in charge of that. At that time, we were playing as a duo, some real fancy place outside of town. I don't remember who got that job. I think it was me, not knowing any better. I approached this gentleman. He says, "Well, I got to hear you. He'll come out and see me." Well, the night unfortunately, he called me and told me the night he was coming. Well, I got nervous, started drinking out of nervousness. Again, first place I'd ever played professionally. I had too much to drink. It affected me, my tone. I was tone deaf. Fortunately, my friend knew how to handle it. He kept me on the straight and narrow. I was panicking. Went out in the audience to apologize, basically, for wasting this gentleman's time.
Oh, no.
He said, no, you guys got the job. Well, he liked the fact that we had fun.
Right.
We joked around, we entertained. I'd go up to the tables and talk to the people. He said, just get a drummer, because it was a dance club.
Right.
And that was it. We would play one of their clubs for 2 weeks, 5 or 6 nights a week. They'd put us up in the hotel, free food. I thought I'd hit the big time. And after 2 weeks, we'd go to another of their places all over the Midwest.
Okay.
So that was how I started, just in the right place at the right time.
That does happen. That opens doors.
That's what it was.
That's when I was in LA and I met Mr. Paul Murray. He was my producer at the time and introduced me to the late James Brown, when James Brown and I was working with Mr. Brown. And then we got into, he knew Joe Jackson, Michael's dad. And I was like, sure you do. Yeah, sure. And he goes, you don't believe me? So we went to his house in Encino and we saw him in Palm Springs. And Joe was, if you put Don Reese show, Joe Jackson, that was my college days interviewing Joe about Paul. And it was so cool sitting in the house watching Tito walk by and, and those stories are what brought me and how Mr. Brown opened the doors. And it was right timing, right place that you're in.
Now, just out of curiosity, you didn't happen to meet his current drummer at the time, James Brown?
Oh, I did meet Mr. Brown after. It was with the pre-Grammy events. Vonnie Hilton Sweeney would run these pre-Grammy events with all open artists, and it was phenomenal. When she passed away, it just dwindled. But she would open the platform for every artist on stage, from the Temptations. I mean, everybody would hit this place. Yeah. And I'd be in the press room. I'd never see the show because I'm interviewing everybody afterwards. It was just truly amazing.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, like Tina Marie came in. I mean, Reba Jackson was there, and the whole crew would and Reba's sitting on the floor. I'm like, Reba, and she's like, no, it's your show. I'm like, oh my gosh, it was so cool just to have them just interview with me and learn their history.
The reason I asked that, at the time, I think, his drummer was Clyde Stubblefield.
Yes.
Okay. Well, he lived up in Madison where I did, and he's passed away now. But before he passed away, they did like a big, not a reunion, but.
I know I remember him telling me about something like that back. Yeah, that's
so all
amazing.
the musicians that I ever knew from the 60s and 70s up in Madison all gathered at this one place. It was great.
Wow.
It was great.
Wow. What amazing story. So, okay, back to you, Mike. So, Mike on the mic.
Mike on the mic.
Mike Angel.
Yep.
So, people are going to ask, can they buy your music anywhere? Do you have any CDs you sell or any DVDs or any video? No?
I did that years and years ago. That wasn't my interest.
What about like
I just
on
wanted to play.
iTunes or?
I'm starting that now.
Are you?
Because I left music for almost 30 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, to get back into music again.
Right.
From being engineering and contract engineering. That's what I was doing.
Right.
Because the music was so far up and down and everything else. And I just needed something steady.
Right.
And I got that from my father, who was a drummer,
So you had the musical family in your family as well.
Well, yeah. When I asked my mother, until I was late in life, like 45 years old. Past my mother, she died at 99, 3 years ago.
God bless her. That's a long life.
99. So,
well, what was her secret? I just have to ask. That's amazing. 99.
She had all her faculty. She said, I remember when you had that girl downstairs. I remember this guy. And everything else. She, was just like that.
Sharp. Wow.
Anyway, my father, he played with the big bands because I asked my mother, I said, how you met Dad? And she said, at a gig. Oh, okay. Where was this? New York City. Oh, okay. Who was you playing with? He was playing with Cab. I went, Cab? Cab who? She said, Cab Calloway. I said, you mean Heidi Ho?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And she said, yeah. I said, no. She said, yeah.
Don't lie to me, Mom.
And I said, I had to wait until I was 40-some years old to
find
ask
that.
Mom, how did you meet Dad?
God, that sounds like a Lifetime movie.
It does.
It does, doesn't
And I'm
it?
going like, I'm like, that's why he didn't want me to play drums like him. He says, I want you to play piano. Forced me to play piano.
Yeah.
He says, because he said, if you go in a hall, there's a piano. You go on a ship or a cruise, there's a piano. You go in an auditorium, there's a piano.
That was
He said,
smart.
You can't do a solo as a drummer.
Yeah.
He said, learn how to play this here, and you know all the instruments.
Yep.
Well,
That's
I
true.
hated piano lessons. I went to private Catholic school, and you know who ran the private Catholic schools? The nuns.
Mm-hmm. You have a bell? No.
Sorry, not that little guys. So, really forced a lot of down your throat of, practicing and discipline, which my father was definitely disciplined.
Right.
Because his home was Panama. That's where he grew up.
Okay.
So different mentality, not born in a different country, coming to the United States to
Right.
work,
Right.
My father worked 2 jobs for 22 years.
That's a
Ridiculous.
rough life. Yeah.
Then to start playing, to really get back into it, a lot of classical, Brahms, Tchaikovsky. I did all the classical. I was forced. And I was extremely shy.
You were
didn't wanna
shy?
play. I
Oh my
couldn't play
gosh.
Hard to believe right now.
Yeah.
I couldn't play in front of anybody, right?
I've helped him blossom.
Oh, thank you, sir. Then, with junior high school, I was in an auditorium, just messing around on the piano. And a couple minutes later, a girl sat next to me. And I just kept playing. And then another minute, another girl sat me on the other side. Oh, wow.
I see a theme here.
Yeah.
Yes. I don't have to talk. I could just
play. Yeah.
And that's how I kind of got started into playing more deep with the bands in high school.
That is, I love these stories. Just about history of how you all both started and that.
My neighborhood I grew up was an Italian-Irish neighborhood. So at that time in the late 60s, everybody played an instrument. It was the Beatles and the Stones, everybody. So everything was music, And how I got to do it professionally, well, in Albany, upstate New York, there was a club called the Soul Shack. And it was upstate New York. So if you went to Montreal, you had to go through Albany. If you had to go to Boston, whatever, Albany was in the center for all the bands on the road.
Oh.
Even James Brown back in the city, when they're all back that time when you get out to Canada. So my brother also played in the band with me. He played horn. So me and my brother played in the same band.
Oh, very cool.
So it was cool. Yeah. Then this road group came into the city, to Soul Shack. And my brother went over there because he was on the streets more than I was. Then they didn't have, at that time, organ player. There wasn't keyboards, it was organ.
Right.
So my brother asked him, he said, where's the organ player at? He says, well, he's back in Jersey. He's sick. He can't do it anymore. And he says, hey, my brother plays. So I got in contact with them. They said, bring your equipment over. It was on a Sunday. Because they were, at that time, the gigs was 7 days a week, 4 sets a night.
Man.
Wow.
That's a long night.
And yes, and you're young, you just want to get out.
That's right.
So I brought over and I sat in with them for the whole night and they said, good, we like you. He says, but we're leaving tonight. He says, right after we set up, he said, break everything down, we're leaving. Where you going? Montreal. I go and I was working for the phone company. I went okay.
Wow. I love it.
Right place at the right time.
Right. So I went home, packed. They came by, got me and my equipment, and boom, to Montreal for 2 weeks. Then Quebec for 2 weeks. Then Nova Scotia. Then around to Toronto. Then to Syracuse. So it was like almost 2 months. And trying to learn the songs because a lot of the songs I didn't know. So I'm playing here. Here's the guitar player, and I'm B flat, C. I'm going.
Wow.
Trying to learn all these songs. It was boot camp. It was really a boot camp of being on the road, and just to go.
That's the best way to learn. You get that pressure to perform. You don't want to embarrass your buddies.
And you 4 sets a night.
Well, see, I learned more about the music industry when I worked, when I wrote for Truth Magazine for Mr. Brown. But at that time, Mr. Paul Murray, he was the Jackson Family Honors photographer producer with all their shows. We got a call from this company called Schoolhouse Jam. And they said, we have a young artist named Little J. He played That's So Raven on Raven. Well, Disney put $1.5 million into this kid, and nobody knew him. They did the music videos. It was amazing. So we had to take him on tour.
Yeah.
So we got the tour buses out of Vegas, and we were on a 2.5 week tour. We had 1 CD with him and posters. It sold out the door. I booked all the schools and made him pretty famous with the group that we were in. And I'll tell you, the tour bus stories is a whole nother show with 5 bodyguards. Yeah. That's a whole nother show.
Yeah, no children.
No children on that one. But, just the touring was a lot of fun, but it is on the road and yeah, it feels good to be home now. And like you said, what we're trying to do now is you have this new opportunity that you're going to be doing. So with your shows, you're can you sing something a little? I know I'm putting him on the spot.
Right now?
Yes. 10 minutes. Excuse me.
Tiny bubbles in the white. No, please stop it.
No.
He's doing a teaser. It means they got to come back and bring all their stuff.
Let me think just for a second. I was practicing at home to sing Dawn.
You can
but I can't sing that high anymore. Remember that song?
You'll never find as long as you live.
There you go.
That's a good song. I like that one.
The Blue Rolls.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was practicing on the way here driving. I going, don't go away, I'm no good for you.
That's not Hawaiian.
I know.
I've heard all of them. Dawn of the Dead. Dawn Wake Up the
Dawn of the Dead. That's a good one.
That's a good one.
Delta Dawn. Dawn dishwashing soap.
Red Dawn, the movie.
Red Dawn.
Red Dawn. Wow. No, you just reminded me, speaking of names.
Yes.
Charlie obviously isn't a Hawaiian name. In Hawaiian, my name is Tequila, like tequila.
Oh, really?
So the next time you have a little tequila, think of me.
And you Dawn dishwashing liquid, think of me.
Tequila ho.
Tequila ho.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I heard that from before. Kill ho.
So you're
I'm gonna kill you all.
So your show is really more Hawaiian based.
No.
Okay.
The tropical thing is going to be strong, but the main thing to me, I think, is promoting local entertainers.
Okay, so we're gonna go back.
And
But
the
you
spots.
guys are local entertainers, and you're so good.
Well, we'll do something live.
Yeah.
That would be
We'll do
nice.
that, and we'll invite other friends.
Okay.
Where we don't need a big pile of equipment to
Yeah,
perform.
Lola, the station owner, and I were talking about that a while ago, and she's like, local artists need to be on the air. And then the place could sponsor, hello, people out there, they could sponsor their segment, and they can promote what's coming up, who's going to be playing. And
Well, I was going to approach the people, because I played almost all the places along the coast here. I was going to approach people that knew me and say, here's an idea we have.
Yeah.
In exchange for sponsoring, we will promote whatever you're having music-wise.
Exactly.
A trade-off kind of thing.
We're working with the Rock House right now. Have you been over there?
Yes.
The Rock House. It's across from the Wyndham. They're doing a karaoke contest. sunkisscharters.com. Book your charter with a pontoon boat or a private sailboat, or that's our company. But they're going to be giving away a free cruise for one of the karaoke singers over there coming up.
Okay. See, so stuff like that.
Right.
That the majority of people may not be aware of.
True.
And maybe we'll go and pick a weekly winner from the karaoke and have them on.
Yes, that's what we want to
Yeah.
do as well. But give them airtime or something.
There's lots of karaoke lovers.
So
in
we
this
need
area.
to go for coffee, and we need to jam this
There you
out.
go, see?
And because you guys are a power team, and my mom always said if you have two structures, it's a
power team.
Yeah, and then three got me. It's like a beginning of a structure. So I know we can do something here with that.
Well, between Mike and I, between the two of us, we know a ton of really great musicians.
Mm-hmm.
I used to work, in fact, I haven't looked him up in a year or two. His name is Boris Lebedinsky. Boris, if you're listening.
Hi, Boris.
World-class guitar player, but with his fingernails.
Wow.
I don't know how him and I got together, but whatever I played, he made it sound 1,000 times better.
But you remember, when was it Loretta Lynn? Remember her story? They would go to radio stations and drop their music off, and hopefully they play them. We have the opportunity to play your music here and get
Personal touch.
get you the exposure. We have YouTube, we have Facebook Live, we have the podcast it goes to 3 FM, 3
And we have
AM.
a fantastic technician.
Yes, our Matt
who make us-
engineer.
Is he sleeping? Where is he?
No, he's up there. He looks so handsome tonight.
What are you doing behind that counter?
Making sure you guys still sound good, and you've been sounding fantastic all night.
Can you make me look taller?
Unfortunately, I don't have that kind of
Come
ability.
on, it's a couple bucks in it
Can
for
make me
you.
look fatter here?
Yeah, chump
some
him
weight,
up a little bit.
Fine. I'll cut him into knees a little bit, add the height to you, and that'll balance it out.
Thank you.
So let me ask you: Do you have agents for TV and film?
I don't know.
Have you thought about it?
Oh, I had them years ago in Wisconsin.
I'm from Wisconsin originally.
Oh, really? What town?
I lived out in the suburbs of Milwaukee.
Oh, yeah. I played over there let me think. I can visualize it in my head. All I remember is they made their own pizza.
Oh,
it was
yes.
wonderful. It was across the street from the hospital, a big hospital. The operating room? No. It was something like that.
Okay.
Everybody dressed up like doctors and surgeons.
Oh, that's
it was
interesting.
very cool.
That's
Very cool.
interesting. Wow.
The lights over the dance floor were like those big surgical lights that they used to use.
No way. Oh my God.
Yeah, it was something east. It's coming to me.
That's okay.
Something room east, because it was the west also. But anyway, yeah, I played a few places in Milwaukee.
Yeah, I mean, but like if somebody wanted to hire like a wedding theme for a Hawaiian theme, or like you could.
Well, the problem is now, if they want to go straight Hawaiian, my dancers have all moved.
Oh,
My
no.
lead dancer moved a couple hours north.
Okay.
The other girls either started a family or they had personal problems they had to deal with and stuff. So that unit is not together anymore.
Okay, but you're such a phenomenal singer.
How do you know?
Because I've heard you.
See that? Okay.
Yes.
Well, anyway, I appreciate that. No, I do the solo stuff, but it doesn't have the same impact as a show.
I know what
You
you're
know what I
saying.
mean?
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like I said, nobody wants to pay. So you don't prepare for it because you don't think anybody's going to pay.
Right.
And you put all those hours into rehearsing, which I hate rehearsing.
Well, I know Lola, the station owner here, would love to have new artists and having you work with us here.
I would like to come in because of his keyboard. I would just bring in my guitar.
I would love
dress it
that.
up real nice. Yeah.
I would love it. What are you doing next week?
You laugh.
I'll pay for next week's show.
Since I retired, I really haven't planned ahead that far.
I have 8:30 open. 8:30 to 9
on Thursday also.
Yes, let's bring you back because it's like a teaser. I got next week.
Okay,
as well.
call me to remind me. Somebody's got to call me to remind me.
Oh, I got to call them.
Since I officially retired, I'm going to keep track of nothing.
So I got to keep them up.
I don't have obligations.
Isn't retiring be nice?
To a point.
Well,
There's
I know
days that I'm bored.
I know.
So I need to play.
I know. I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're bored. I'm not bored.
Oh no,
I'm always working on my engineering, electronics,
doing something.
Else. I'm always doing.
He's the detail guy. I'm more the fun guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, can we book that for next week, Thursday at 8:30? It's only a half hour. Then we were like 8:56 right now.
How about it?
Please, you guys. I mean, you have to hear these guys, and you bring your puppets. I'll bring my squashmallow pillows.
Oh, that'd be funny. Yeah, bring them pillow.
Yeah,
it'll be pillow talk.
Get a pillow and get some little felt eyes and lips and stuff.
Oh, you can put this pillow right next to the microphone. Pillow talk. Anyway, this is what's happening.
There you go. There's
That'll be fun.
Show idea.
That'll be fun.
Yeah,
so, what do you think we should do? I mean, just an idea. Like, do you want to like collaborate and talk to some of these artists and bring them on the air, or do a contest someplace?
Well, eventually, yeah. But I mean, there's some homework involved.
Right.
I don't want to invite anybody on that I really don't think is at the level of professional.
Would you want to have like an open casting call? Like bring artists on and like gong them or
no,
not gong them.
Yeah.
No, I mean that gong is not the word to use.
The host says no.
Or, because I brought in a lot of actors and singers, and I even had a show on PAX TV, which was a while ago. It was a karaoke show we put on TV, and Paul Murray produced it. And the funny thing, we kept the worst singers on because people thought it was the funniest.
Well, yeah, there's different types of
like they can't sing.
Well, look at what they do on these talent shows on TV. Yeah, they bring in a crapper once in a while to make other people really look good.
Yeah,
it keeps it interesting.
Yeah.
Before I forget, you mentioned that name, Paul Murray.
Paul Murray.
That's how.
He was the Jackson family's personal photographer and producer with a lot of the family honor shows.
Wasn't the singer for the Rascals Paul Murray?
No, I mean he could have been, but I mean he was.
I think he was. I think it's his last name because it was very unusual.
Another Murray. Yeah, he's good friends with Mama Ali, Muhammad Ali's first wife, and she called me the other day, and she's working on a casting. I got to get her on the phone with you because she's got. Like all the talk shows, and she knows everybody. She's been traveling, and she's working on her own movie because that Netflix movie about Muhammad was not to her up to her par because they didn't give her the things that really happened.
Yeah,
and so she's working on that now.
I'm not tall enough to play Muhammad Ali.
Yeah, no,
I'm not tall enough.
No, but her casting and what she does, and I mean, like,
I could be the stool he sits on.
Well, we could have talent shows here.
Yes,
I've done it.
Yeah, we could.
I've done it over the years.
The potential is tremendous. The only thing that before I commit to stuff, I like to talk to some people and get an idea of how they'll respond.
Yes, I have some ideas.
Wonderful.
I think I have some ideas. But we have like 2 minutes, 1 minute. He's saying 1 minute, everybody.
That's it?
Yes. Well, we'll see you next Thursday with these two amazing men. They're going to come back and hopefully sing for us.
We're amazing.
With a track. We can put a track up there.
We don't need no stinking track.
Well, can you end with something?
Yeah, I'll bring
like
back
60 seconds. Like you look at 60 seconds, like something.
Okay, the pressure's on.
Yes.
I can bring my backing track.
I'm not used to singing without my guitar in my hand.
That's
Bring a ukulele.
Oh, look.
You can bring the ukulele.
Bring the ukulele in.
Okay, it's counting down. Now you have like 13 seconds. 18.
You put me on the spot.
Tiny
bubbles in the wine. Make me happy, make me feel fine. Oh, Licky. You sing with me.
You'll never find.
Yeah, he likes that.
But if you bring the ukulele?
I'll bring the guitar.
A guitar.
Yeah.
I would love that.
I bring my guitar.
Yeah, he'll bring the guitar.
And Kokomo.
He'll sound like the whole
Kokomo.
I bring Kokomo.
Yes, we're excited. God bless you. Remember, give God all the glory and honor in your life. Watch things happen. I'm Dawn Reese. We also have Miracle Story Show and the Concierge.
WTAN, Clearwater.
FM 106.1.
WDCF, Dade City.
FM 102.3.